Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth on a brand new week here on a Monday. The John Campea Show, coming from right here in our quaint little studio where we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, and all that good stuff. I'm joined in studio today by our technical producer, Jonathan Boyko.
Hello, every pony.
Writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett.
How's it going, John?
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. And here's how the day is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a few predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your comments and questions. If you have a comment or question you'd like us to address, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And as long as it's appropriate for us to address on the show, we'll address it a little bit later on in the show. Hey, by the way, before we get going, you know, like about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we started also, you know, doing our podcasting on Spotify and stuff like that. And we found out at the end of the year, of course, last year, that Spotify sent us this badge graphic saying we were in the top, the John Campea Show is in the top 1% of all video podcasts on the platform.
Wow.
Well, apparently we're doing okay in the audio podcasts too, as this got sent to me today. That we are number 8 on the Spotify podcast charts there for entertainment. And listen, guys, we would love to do a little bit of a push as we get towards the end of the year. So how can you help get us up the charts on Spotify? Simple. Just go over to Spotify. Make sure you subscribe to the John Campea Show on there, the audio podcast. That would be great if you did. Rate it. Leave a comment. That's all free for you to do. If you wanted to help us out and get us even further up the chart, go ahead and do that. That would be great.
Do they pay you like 12 cents a stream?
I'm pretty sure they pay me nothing. I'm pretty sure that's how it works out. But still, it's a nice little feather in the cap.
I want to do that. How do we? Come on, let's get that. Get it up.
Yeah.
Do they send you a plaque?
They send me badges, digital badges in the email. Like top 1% of the year. They don't give me.
How are you supposed to share that with your friends?
Yeah, they don't give me anything cool like
you can post it on Instagram.
The big plaque that YouTube gives us or anything. But still, it's pretty cool to see that we're that high up there. So guys, by all means, make sure you go and subscribe to our podcast feed. Because, you know, you can't always have the video show in front of you. Maybe you're driving, maybe you're on the treadmill, maybe you're at work, whatever. Go subscribe to the audio podcast. So even if you only need it like once or twice a month, it'll be there when you need it. All right. With that down, guys, let's get things going with this, shall we? Out of all the monumental mistakes that Lucasfilm has made over the past number of years, couple of great things, couple of really great things. I'm looking at you, Andor, you beautiful son of a bitch. But they've made a lot of mistakes. One of the upcoming mistakes they have, of course, is by doing a Daisy Ridley Rey movie.
It's a mistake.
Something they absolutely should avoid. Doing that. And I say that as somebody who loves Daisy Ridley. I love her. And I really like the Rey character. I do. I think the character in and of itself is a really interesting, cool character. But Rey is one of the big representations of an era of Star Wars making that they really need to move on from. You need to just move past the sequel era, much as they needed to move past the prequel era. Instead of trying to redeem it, they just need to move past it. So I've said for a while, I don't think this is a movie they should make. Now, they announced this thing back in 2023. We are still no closer to it getting made. And now it looks like that might even be delayed even more for another questionable idea. The folks over at CBR are reporting that Star Wars fans get more bad news. Well, not really bad news, but that Daisy Ridley lands a new movie that might delay her new film even more because it's supposed to shoot in the second part of 2026. But the new movie is interesting because it's another true story MMA movie, much like Dwayne Johnson's Smash Machine just did. This comes from CBR, wrote the following. Star Wars fans, at least those who like the sequel era, will be disappointed to learn that Daisy Ridley's latest project will not be the upcoming new Jedi Order. Instead, the actor who played Rey in the Star Wars sequel movies is set to lead the cast of a new biopic. Ridley will star in Killa B, which tells the real-life story of an intensive care unit nurse who becomes an MMA fighter. According to the publication, the movie will chronicle the life of Byron Tyrell, a mother of two with a master's degree in nursing and a degree in molecular biology. She ain't no dummy. Who worked on the ICU by day and navigating the challenges of the NHS, that's in the UK, and at night transformed into one of Britain's leading cage fighting prospects. The original synopsis reads, that comes to us from CBR.
That doesn't even sound real.
Doesn't sound real, but it is real.
It's real, Rob.
It's a real thing. And now look, putting the Star Wars stuff aside, I'm freezing on the name of that great movie she just did where she played the true life story of the woman who swam across the channel. What was the name of that? Rainy by Day, How Wet Are My Feet? I can't remember the name of it.
Water Wet.
Water Wet. But it was really good. And her performance was fantastic.
She's a great actress.
She's a really good actress. Young Woman and the Sea.
Yeah, Young Woman in the Sea. There
Harsvik was the first person to put that in there. The Woman by the Sea.
Beat me to
The
IMDb.
Woman and the Sea, I should say. My Feet Are Wet, the movie. Somebody now should just make a movie based on that. The title alone will sell it.
Somehow Ray hasn't returned.
Somehow Ray's not returned.
She's going to play an MMA fighter.
Listen, so I think she's great. And whenever she's going to star in something new, you catch my attention. However, I've got to wonder this. Whereas I have no doubt that Tyrell's real story is compelling and amazing. An ICU nurse by day with a molecular biology degree becomes an MMA fighter at night. That sounds really cool to me. It really does. But I am surprised they're moving forward with this, considering, not for any artistic merit, but we just had another real life MMA biography film just get done with one of the most recognizable, prominent movie stars in the world, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And that thing tanked. It tanked. Now, maybe not MMA, but if you still want to go into the world of combat, a biography based on a real combat sport person, Sydney Sweeney's got that new movie coming out.
Yep.
That, by the way, looks really good.
Yeah, Christy.
Nobody's going to go see it.
Aw.
But I mean, it looks really good. I'm going to see it. I'm sure these two crackheads are going to go see it. But I mean,
I like movies. That's why I'm here.
But I don't think anybody else is going to go see it.
Yeah.
And so, like, even if they had been in the planning stages, which I'm sure they have been, of this new movie, and by the way, I love the title, Killa B. I love that title.
Yeah.
I would have thought after Smashing Machine came out with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson doing absolutely nothing at the box office, I would have thought they might have backed off from this. Now, listen, none of that is to say that this movie doesn't sound like it could be really good. And I am very interested in seeing it. I'm just saying I'm surprised from a business point of view they decide to move on with it. So listen, if this delays or maybe adds to the cause of ultimately Lucasfilm canceling this Rey Star Wars movie and move on to other things, great. Do I want to see this movie? Absolutely. Do I think that Daisy Ridley is going to kill it in this? Absolutely. But am I surprised that that they think anybody's going to go to see it? I am a little bit. Anyway, Rob, what do you think about the story? You looking forward to seeing Killa B?
No.
Oh,
Really?
I mean, look, I'm sure it's going to be a great movie.
Then if you're sure it's going to be a great movie, why wouldn't you want to see it?
I'm like, okay, I guess, unlikely person becomes something unlikely. I just don't.
True story.
It's a true story, and I'm sure that the actual person is lovely. But I could probably tell you every single beat that's going to be in that movie. It's not something we haven't seen.
well, what do you want to?
before.
What do you want to see?
know her story.
What do you want to see? Likely person does likely job.
I'm just saying.
Likely person does likely job.
I'm just
the
saying.
movie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I've seen stories like this before, and great, but I'm sure it's going to be a fine film. I just don't,
You're a hater.
I'm not a hater. I don't. Life is too short. There's a million other
That's
movies.
a good show.
I listen, I don't think this is going to be like, look, in the world of musical biopics, we had a long string of films that were all exactly the same, beat for beat, right? Tell me which musical biopic I'm talking about here, okay? As I describe the film. You guess which movie I'm talking about. A young person discovers they're incredibly gifted musically, and they start on a path to success to explore music. Only their own personal demons and their own personal vices and problems get in their way and threaten to sabotage their whole life and their whole career.
And their relationship.
And their relationships. But by the end of it, they find a path to redemption, and they get to enjoy incredible success and whatever.
Walk the Line.
Was it Walk the Line?
Or it was actually the Freddie Mercury story? Or
Freddie,
it was,
yeah,
I
was
can't wait
it
to see
Rocket
that
Man?
movie.
No, he'd been Rocket
Or
Man.
was it Rocket Man?
Now that you mention it,
It's all of them. I don't think Killa B is going to be that. I think she probably has a very unique story. And I don't know, but let me ask you this, Rob. Despite the
I'm
fact
sure
that
it's going to be good.
okay, so it's going to be
it
good.
was definitely
maybe.
La Bamba. Oh, wait. No, not La Bamba. Not
That
so
person
much
died.
one.
Somebody in the live chat just all said, "Don't forget Spinal Tap." There it is, Spinal Tap. So look, the part that surprises me though is the fact that after Smashing Machine fell on its face, although it did get a lot of critical praise, so there's something to be said for that. I'm surprised they decided to move forward with it.
Yeah.
What do you think is behind the decision to look, we just saw what happened to the Dwayne Johnson movie, but we think this can be different. What do you think motivates
It
them to do that?
it probably is a really great story, and there's probably a great script, and you've got a star in Daisy Ridley who's bankable, so they can get the movie made. And I think that's great.
All right, guys. Question is for you. Might have to wait a little while longer to get that Ray movie. I'm fine with that. But Daisy Ridley is going to star in another true MMA biopic, Killa B. I think it sounds great, and I am interested in seeing it. It's just that with the failure of Smashing Machine, is this the right time for that? I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? During the infamous Chair Watch, where Marvel, in the dumbest possible way, decided to unveil the cast list for at least part of the cast list of the upcoming Avengers Doomsday, a lot of classic X-Men characters in there, but one of them who was very noticeable by their absence was Jean Grey herself, Famke Janssen, or, as I've been told, is properly pronounced Huskis Vorg Visky Vorg. Or it's Famke Janssen.
Yes.
Famke Janssen. I guess people just mispronounced it so early in her career, she just stopped correcting people. And I'm Famke Janssen. So, but it's Famke Janssen. Is her name. And whatever name she goes by, she's awesome. Because I've loved her in everything I've seen, even post X-Men.
Didn't Raymond Reddington kill her in an episode of The Blacklist?
Yeah? Wait, I can't remember if he killed her or not.
I don't remember if he killed her
But
either.
I remember she was one of the big adversaries in Blacklist. Loved her. Then she got her own show. It was kind of a Blacklist kind of show. Unfortunately, it only lasted one season.
Oh.
But she was great in that. Anyway. All that said.
Xenia on a top.
She is that's
Golden
right.
Eye.
She is not, according to her. Don't expect to see her in Chair Watch Part 2.
Ah.
Apparently she's saying nobody from Disney's ever contacted her about being in this, so don't expect to see her. The headline in Deadline reads, Famke Janssen hasn't heard from Disney about Jean Grey's return to the X-Men. They go on to write this in Deadline. Despite several of her co-stars returning or reuniting for Avengers Doomsday, the actress revealed that she has never, ever spoken to Disney about potentially bringing back her mutant with psionic powers. Every time I do an interview, it's mentioned. It's interesting, she told Entertainment Weekly. I didn't realize that was such a big part. If she did. Every interview I do, that will come up. And of everything I say, that is going to be the only thing that's going to be printed. They can be talking to her about any project they're supposed to be talking to her about, but the headline's going to be what she says about playing Jean Grey. All right. This is interesting to me because she is an absolutely core pivotal part of that original Fox era X-Men, right? Like even getting her basically own movie revolved around her with the Phoenix. That didn't work out so well.
No.
Still, It is really interesting to me, or hard for me to imagine, doing some kind of resurgence of the old X-Men and not having Jean Grey in there. So that ultimately brings us to the question of, is she really being left out? Because look, at the end of the day, guys, I know everybody's going to say, well, you should put her in there. Oh, and you should put that person and that person and that person, and everybody should be there. At the end of the day, it's one movie. You can only put in so many characters. Unless you want Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom to have 5 minutes of screen time, you can only put in so many characters. And maybe her not being in it is simply a function of, we could only bring in so many people, and we had to pick the X-Men characters that fell more in line with the story that we wanted to tell. If that's the case, I mean, because when you think about it, they're already bringing back a ridiculous number of the old X-Men characters. And we may even find out there's a few more. So if she's not in it, I think it's a shame, but I do get it because there's already so much being packed into this film. Now that brings up the second question that I'm sure most people are wanting to talk about. Is she actually not going to be in it? Or is this another Andrew Garfield scenario? Where Andrew Garfield swore up and down, even to people he was in a relationship with, that he was not going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home, despite the fact that up to a year before the movie came out, there were reports flying all around that he and Tobey Maguire were. He denied it and denied it and denied it. Now, we haven't had another Andrew Garfield situation since. So, I mean, I don't know. So, Rob, I put the two questions to you. Assuming she's telling the truth, and we should not expect to see her in the upcoming Avengers films. Understandable, outrageous. And then the second question is, do we actually believe her when she says that she's never spoken to anybody about possibly coming back? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I thought I heard or read in a leak that was 100% accurate, that not only was she in the movie, but Doom killed her and transferred the Phoenix Force into himself. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, if it came from Reddit, of course it has to be true.
You know, I read it. I read it on the internet.
Well, if you look closely at this image here, you can see up here in the upper scaffolding, Jean Grey is definitely included.
Actually, if you look at that picture with 3D glasses on, the traditional red-blue glasses, Jean Grey's face appears on that wall.
That's
on the screen.
What's crazy about it.
That's amazing.
Take it to the bank. I swear, it's true.
Incredible. First of all, look. I mean, obviously, I think the Phoenix Force. Phoenix herself does pose a problem because of how powerful she is. Because if you've got Doom and you've got, you know, all this other stuff going on, how do you have the Phoenix Force and then do something with it that doesn't make it easy to defeat Doom? You know, something like that. So I can understand from a story standpoint they didn't include her. On the other hand, I think she's lying.
Oh, you think she's in there?
Yeah, because I mean, you know, why wouldn't you put her in there? It's just
because there's already 75 characters in the movie.
It could be. I mean, I don't know. It's just we haven't seen Chair Watch 2. Again, I've made it a lot. Look, John, I told you on this show, I said I'm making it a lifestyle choice to be excited about Doomsday.
Yes, sir.
Or as I like to call it, Doomsday until they change it. And I'm going to say, because I choose to believe that she's lying and Phoenix is going to be in this movie. Just because I want to.
All right, fair enough.
Just because I want to.
But I do have to ask this. This is the one thing, I mean, besides the fact that, yeah, Andrew Garfield did that a number of years ago. It hasn't happened since. The one thing that kind of makes me wonder about, you know, would she really be lying is, with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, you are talking about the two original Spider-Man.
Yes.
Then coming in and creating this multiversal, it's a very big deal.
I don't really think she's lying.
Is Famke Janssen and Jean Grey, who is just a big part, but just one part of that. I mean, she wasn't Ian McKellen's Magneto. She wasn't. I mean, is she such a big deal? Is she such a big deal that, ooh, this is going to get the Andrew Garfield reaction, so let's keep this one under. I just don't really think it's
not Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire.
What's that?
Not Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire pop.
Yeah.
No. You get pop, but not like
as
that.
Spider-Man pop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you're already revealing Ian McKellen as Magneto and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know
I don't think that if she's saying she's not in the movie, I don't think she is. Because like you pointed out, Ian McKellen's in the movie, who's a much bigger star. Why wouldn't they say that she's?
Yeah, why would if they were going to hide a name, Wouldn't Patrick Stewart be the name you hide? Wouldn't Ian McKellen be the name you hide? Or even if you want to go beyond that, Michael Fassbender. Maybe that's one they're hiding as another version of Magneto. I mean, I don't know. It just seems weird that would be the one they do.
Yeah, I don't think she's in the movie. I mean, this story could be worse because they could be talking to Gwyneth Paltrow, and even if she was in the movie, she'd tell you she wasn't because she doesn't know what Marvel movie.
She's not sure what movie she's in.
She's not doesn't know.
She's not even sure what she's in. All right, guys. Question is for you. Famke Janssen is saying that, listen, don't expect to see me in these Doomsday. I have never, no one from Disney's even called me about this, which seems like a bit of a shame, but I do get it. There's a hell of a lot of characters in this movie already. Or maybe you don't believe her and you expect to see her in Chair Watch too. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? It's been rough at the box office, man. Particularly this month. We just finished the month of October, and it went out on a whimper. As no films hit double digits in the millions. The number one film at the box office ended up making $8 million. It was, according to the data I read, the lowest weekend of the year, which wrapped up the worst October. It's official now. Rob made mention of this, saying it was projected that this was going to be one of the worst Octobers in decades, but now it's official.
Since the 90s.
It's done. Variety is here reporting October box office plunges to 3-decade low as flops like Tron Ares and Smashing Machine pile up. It is, I believe, the lowest since 1998. 27 years since we've had an October this low. I think that is a byproduct of several factors. I don't think there's any one. One of the big factors, of course, is the fact that fewer people are going to the movies today than they have been in the last 10, 15 years. That's a big one. But also the elephant in the room. Nothing hit in October. You know, Smashing Machine flop, Tron Ares fell on its face. The ones that, and aside from that, just a whole bunch of not notable films came out. There was nothing really big or nothing really that was there that was like one of those guarantee gotta see it's kind of movies. Although I was very excited about Tron Ares. I thought the marketing for that looked great. And, you know, in its defense, it wasn't terrible. It was okay. But, but you know, just nobody went to go see the other Tron movies. I don't know why they thought a lot of people were going to go see this one. So it kind of compiled up. Now, that being said, not all is doom and gloom. Because November, the month we just started, looks like it could be very strong. We got movies like Zootopia 2, Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man. We've got Predator Badlands. We got Running Man. Oh, and we got a little Wicked film, Wicked for Good, all opening up in November. So, like, everything does look like it's poised for a big splashback with November. It looks like November's going to be quite strong. We could have $2 billion films coming out in November, potentially. No guarantees, but Zootopia 2 definitely could possibly be in the running to be $1 billion film. Wicked for Good, I don't think will hit the $1 billion mark, but it's definitely in the running. I mean, any one of these films, I want to put this in perspective for you. You ready for this? Any one of these films could beat all the films of October.
Yeah.
That's how bad October was.
Tron Ares hasn't even grossed $70 million domestic.
I mean, it's worldwide numbers a little bit better, but yeah, domestically, nobody at home. I mean, no one's ever been interested in seeing another Tron movie. When I say nobody, obviously that's hyperbole, but next to nobody. And then certain films that they were hoping would be these sneaky little hits like Smash Machine, just never able to do it. But in October. Rob, it raises the question, though. When you look at the lineup for November, which looks strong. By the way, I didn't even mention like Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which by the way, I don't think anybody's going to go see that. I really don't. I think that movie's going to flop hard. Hopefully it's good, but I think it's going to flop terribly. Should some studios have maybe saw an opportunity in October? Because listen, Nuremberg, Keeper, Running Man, Predator Badlands, Wicked for Good, Wake Up Dead Man, Zootopia 2. Like, don't you think they maybe should have looked at October as maybe an opportunity where like nobody was going to see anything else? Like maybe taking a Predator Badlands and slipping it into October, maybe taking a Running Man and slipping it in October. Do you think there was a missed opportunity, or do you think creating a feeding frenzy in November is going to be better for all of them? I don't know. What's your takeaway from all this?
Well, what I'm surprised about is we've had one of the greatest years for horror ever.
Horror, no, not one of. It was the highest grossing year for horror ever.
The one movie that really hit was Black Phone 2.
Yeah.
You know, that film's made over $60 million and wasn't big expensive. Why wasn't October given a little bit more horror love? Which I thought was ironic that Black Phone 2, if you look at it, it's outgrossed Tron Ares.
Oh, jeez.
Domestically. I mean, and the contrast in terms of how much those movies cost. But no, John, I don't think that anybody was really thinking about the difference because no one thought October was going to be the disaster that it is.
Yeah.
And I think that people thought, look, November's holiday season. You got Thanksgiving off. So you've got that sweet, sweet week of people outside of school and outside of what they do. They go to see the movies. Thanksgiving is a big movie-going week, and you've got a lot of strong contenders. Even if they open early, they're going to still be in theaters. And Wicked for Good, that movie's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I don't think
it's going to hit the $1 billion mark, but make no mistake, it's going to be big.
Yeah, November's going to be a big and look, these movies are strong. Word of mouth on Running Man is good. You know, I think most of these movies that are coming out, we talked about it before, Zootopia is a $1 billion potential movie. So I think we're going to have what we lost in October, we're going to gain back in November. Maybe.
By the way, there's a few people in the live chat pointing this out too. There was another film that was supposed to come out in October. Mortal Kombat 2. Which smashed all kind of trailer records. I still don't know why they moved it to May. I really don't. I mean, I think that could have done very, very well for itself in there as well. But again, listen, as horribly depressing as October ended up being, things look pretty promising for November. And I know the movie theaters are probably like getting themselves ready, hopefully getting more busy than it has been in October. So we'll see. By the way, as far as Running Man goes, I talked to somebody who saw it. They said it was really good.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that's just one person's opinion, whatever, but I'm very excited for that.
I mean, between Running Man and Predator Badlands, those are two genre films I can't wait for.
Do you know I'm supposed to go see Predator Badlands tonight?
You gonna go?
You guys remember I said last week that I've decided I'm going to break my rule.
Yeah, you made a big deal about it.
That I'm not going to go to any more, and haven't gone in years. I've turned all press screenings down, but I think I'm going to go. I said yes to the Predator one. That press screening's tonight.
But where is it?
I might not go. It's at one of my favorite theaters. It's at the AMC Burbank 16.
I think you go. If this was Century City, I'd be like, nah.
But now I'm wondering, do I actually break my streak of refusing to go to all press screenings?
I'd go.
And now I'm not sure because I've got tickets for an early fan screening for Wednesday.
Yeah, so do I.
So it's only 2 more days wait. So I don't know.
I have to drive the folks to the airport though on Wednesday. I don't know if I'm going to make it back in time. After this show.
I got a magic word for you, Rob.
No.
Uber.
I can't do it.
It's a magical word.
I know, I can't do it.
All right.
I can't. I wish I could.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The absolute worst weekend at the box office has contributed to the worst October box office in nearly 30 years. When you look at the lineup, it's really not all that surprising. What do you think about and how optimistic you think people should be for November? I think there's a number of bangers in there for the upcoming weeks, including Predator Badlands, which I cannot wait to see. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, we're just a couple of weeks away now. It is this month. It is in November, just a few more weeks, and Stranger Things, the final season, debuts. Listen, this is a show that over the course of a decade has become firmly enhanced into our pop cultural consciousness. It's become an incredibly successful show. It's become like water cooler talk, all that kind of stuff. These little children now all own homes. One of them is even married with a kid. It's how they're going to pass these kids off as still kids, I'm not really sure. But that being said, as it is, and the promotional tours have started. And one of the things I've seen is interviews being done with Millie Bobby Brown and David Harbour, the adopted father to the main character sort of thing. They've been out doing the press tours. Well, drama exists. And I wonder if this is going to have an impact on this new season and the perception the public has of it. Yahoo News is running this. Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown filed a harassment and bullying complaint with the production company behind Stranger Things Season 5. Now, the complaint got filed before they started shooting Season 5. So that's, I don't know, a year and a half ago, whatever. They filed the complaint. Now, this is what the story reads. This comes to us from The Wrap. Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown filed a lengthy complaint against co-star David Harbour ahead of filming the show's 5th season, the Daily Mail reported. Brown, who plays Eleven/Jane Hopper on the hit Netflix series, was said to have included pages and pages of accusations. The news was exclusively reported Saturday by the British newspaper. The Wrap's request for comments sent to Netflix, series creator Matt and Ross Duffer, and reps for Harbour and Brown were not immediately returned Sunday. She filed a harassment and bullying claim before they started shooting the last season. There were pages and pages of accusation. The investigation went on for months. Now, I should point out here that this is a very important part here. None of the accusations were anything of a sexual nature. It even says right in the headline, the actress included pages and pages of her complaint, none of which were sexual in nature. The Daily Report. Fine. Now, I wanted to draw special attention to that because whenever you hear of actress files behavioral complaint against actor, that's normally where things goes. None of the accusations had anything to do with that. All right. This is interesting to me, but also very conflicting to me. On the interesting part, I mean, these are two of the major stars of this incredibly huge show doing its victory lap, about to have season 5. And to hear that one person filed bullying complaints against another person when the two characters are so connected in the show. It's a father-daughter, basically, in the show. I wonder if that's going to sour some people watching it, because we're going to get scenes with Hopper and Eleven. And if people are going to watch it and go, these people hate each other. Is that what's going to be on? Is that what's going to be going through people's heads? And look, Rob, I got to tell you, I'm a little conflicted about this. Because first of all this is coming from the Daily Mail, which reports factual stuff a lot of the time, but also reports a lot of very questionable things a lot of the time.
Where were the trades about this story?
Well, I mean, they're kind of, they're parroting it now, but
yeah.
So, but here's where I feel a little bit conflicted. All right. And this could be fair, unfair. I'm only speaking from my own personal experience. Take it as you will. On the one hand, you know, if we have an actor out there who harasses and bullies children on the set of a show, fuck that guy. And listen, I say this as somebody who was never there. I have no insider information. I have no firsthand account of anything was there. I was never in the room. I have no idea about the validity or lack thereof of any of this. Let me be clear about that. I'm just saying, in theoretical situation number one, if we actually have an adult actor who is harassing and bullying child actors on the set of a movie or a show, F that guy. And there should be repercussions and there should be problems, right? On the other hand, is this much ado about nothing? The article itself claims that Netflix did launch months of investigations into it. Apparently nothing came out of it. And, Jonathan and I were talking before the show started today. If one actor says another actor is harassing you or being a bully to you, you got to investigate. You got to, hey, we got to hit pause. We need to look into this because that's a serious matter. But the article does go on to say that nothing came. I mean, it doesn't point out that anything came out. They said they did months of investigations. The show got made. They're out there promoting it. So I don't know if anything came out of it. But here's the other thing to me, and I admit this is all coming from my own personal bias because of my own personal experiences. So again, do not take this as a blanket truth that all people should look at this through. Not at all. I'm simply giving you my own skewed opinion and my own skewed point of view. Just being honest. But Rob, I have found today a lot of people treasure them being treated as a princess. And I mean this for men and women. Above all things, you treating me like a princess is the most important thing in the world. There's no room for accountability. There's no room for being held to a certain standard. There's no room for being told no. Because if you ever hold me accountable, or if you ever say the standard is higher than what I'm achieving, or if heaven forbid you ever tell me no, you're bullying me.
Well, we had that exact conversation in my interview with you, me, and Dennis N. years ago, a decade ago. I told you both.
You guys are bullying me. Yep. Had to put Jonathan in his place. But in all seriousness, I remember once, and I hesitate to tell this story because me and the person involved are actually good now. We're good. But I just give you, when I read this story, this is what went through my mind. There was an instance once when I moved from AMC to Collider. I had it put in writing very clearly because there was already a lot of people and a big infrastructure on the Collider website side, right? And a lot of people who were senior over there and all that kind of stuff. I have a lot of respect for the site. It was one of the best at the time. Still is a great site, all that kind of stuff. But I made it very clear. I said to everybody over at Collider, if I come over here and start up a Collider video side, y'all have no say in anything that goes on over here. We will be this is the terminology I put in writing. We will be two branches of the same tree, but separate branches. There's the website side, there's the video side. We will consult with each other. We will give each other ideas. We'll try to support each other, but when it comes to the operating of things, I've got my side of the yard. The rest of you guys have yours. And that was made clear. One person in Collider leadership, the website side, tried very hard to get me to do something on the video side. And I heard them out. We had discussions. At the end of the day, and I'll tell you how this all ties into the whole David Harbour situation here. And I decided no. I said no. They came back to me, pressured a little bit harder. And I said, it's an interesting idea, but I don't think that's right for what we're trying to do over here. No. Fine. That's the end of it, right? Not so fast. This individual then contacted my key two people over on the video side. And they tried to get these two people to implement the idea that I had already said no to, without ever mentioning to them that they had already talked to me and I had already said no.
Oh, you motherfucker.
They casually went to two of my lieutenants and tried to get this thing implemented, maybe not realizing that we had daily staff meetings where me and my people had a lot of communication. Sometimes tense, sometimes whatever, but we had communication. And it got brought to my attention that this person was sneaking behind my back to try to get something done that I had said no to, which was a clear violation of our agreement, a clear violation of the rules. It was doctrine that you do not interfere with what I'm doing. So I got on the phone with this person because I'm a direct communicator. I don't get on social media and complain, this person did this.
You've always been that way. You've always been very direct.
Yeah, I don't get on social media and bring beef to social media. Losers do that. Insecure, weak people do that. I called this person directly, and I tore a strip off him. I'm like, you son of a bitch. You know that this is how we do things. You went behind my back, and I was pissed. I was pissed. But we're going to work together, so I need to be clear communication. And I ripped into them. So that's the end of the story, right? Nope. About a week later, I get a call from Complex, the company that owned Collider and Collider Video. And one of the big HR people over at Complex contacted me and said, we got a complaint from one of the leaders over at Collider, the website side, that you are bullying them and you are verbally abusing them. And I said, time out. Let me get this straight. The reason you are contacting me is not to say, hey, we found out there was a major violation of the rules, that there was a major inappropriate actions taken, of people trying to go behind your back and undermine what was going on at Collider Video. You're not calling me to talk to me about that. You're calling me to talk to me that I got mad at the person who tried to fuck me over? That's what you're contacting me about? Really? And they said, well, yes. I said, well, fuck you, I'm out. And that was the first time I quit Collider. That's when the senior vice president of Complex got on a plane, flew from New York, tried to hold a session to try to talk me out of leaving. I said, no, I'm gone. And I did. I left. I went and started working with Comic-Con HQ. I stayed connected to Collider in many ways. And, 6 months later, they talked me into coming back. But still, I was pissed. I tell you all that because I can't help, because of my own personal experiences, when I read of a young, suddenly shot to the top of the world star saying somebody was bullying them when you're on a set with a lot of other people, I have to admit my own personal background and biases skews my vision of it a bit. And I can't help but wonder, is this a situation where, hey, maybe we've got an adult star in David Harbour being an asshole to a bunch of kids? Or is this a situation where a young star doesn't like being told no? Or a young star doesn't like being held accountable if they screw up? Or a young star doesn't like that they're not being treated the way they want to be treated? Again, I'm not saying either is true. Let me be clear. I'm just saying I can't help but wonder that a little bit when I read the story. And again, Rob, they investigated it. Show got shot. They're out there promoting it. So, I mean, and by the way, there's still a little bit of a question in the air about whether this report is even real or not, is even valid. But anyway, so there's a lot of stuff floating around about this. Again, it just comes down that this all comes out right before Stranger Things Season 5 is coming. And I can't help but wonder if stuff like that is going to affect viewership of the show or how people view the show. Anyway, Rob, you heard about this. What do you think?
Well, I've heard a lot from people, especially recently during the interviews I do, whether it's Designing Hollywood, interviewing people in the industry. And there is a ongoing, I would call it a generational problem between young people that are working on sets and veterans. And there's a lot of people that aren't used to the kind of ribbing and criticism and just what everybody considers, and no one takes it personally. It's just a part of the business. I mean, there's a lot of humor that flows around, and you've got to have a bit of a tough skin. And there's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah, not that we're saying that there aren't lines you shouldn't cross.
Oh, no, there definitely.
Obviously, of course.
But this is working on a movie set is a very social, a very open. There's not a lot of closed door things.
And stressful.
There, and that's how people blow off steam is with gentle ribbing, comedy, dark humor, these kinds of things. And a lot of people have told me from many different areas of the business that it's become, they don't like it for this reason, that people have to watch what they say, when it used to be that everybody understood we're all a big happy family, but we like to have a bit of fun and we like to, poke fun at people. It's part of the business. That said, I don't think bullying has any place on a movie set. And also, if this happened before season 5 went off without a hitch. We haven't heard anything going on. They spent a long time making season 5. Why is this even a story? These kinds of things should remain internal, because when they come out, it's like it's a non-story.
Well, considering this was about a year and a half ago, it sounds like they did try to keep it internal.
But then if they did keep it internal and it was all taken care of, and they actually made another season of TV and it all worked out.
Yeah,
I mean, clearly, people have internal problems and they deal with them. And you put this out, it seems dubious to me. And even if it was leaked to interfere in the same month this comes out, that Stranger Things 5 is debuting, I don't know. It just seems a little sus to me.
Yeah, I agree. Like, first of all, so this stayed buried for a year and a half, and all of a sudden, look, again, putting on the tinfoil hat, I mean, it almost looks like somebody's trying to sabotage the show.
Well, and look, if the investigation went out and there was if there was wrongdoing, we would have heard about it. They would have done something, and there would have been disciplinary action. They would have gone to SAG. They would have done something.
Or you know what else could? Again, look, we're just spitballing.
Or the problem
we're
was
just spitballing.
solved.
What if it's like, hey, maybe David Harbour and Millie Bobby Brown got into it one day on set?
Yeah,
you're right. And guess what? I get into it with the people I work with. I get into it with family. And guess what? Then you move past it. So like maybe this is a situation where the two of them got into it. One of them, being the younger one, filed a complaint. And they got it, investigation, they got it all worked out and everything's
Which,
fine.
by the way, is standard practice.
Yeah.
HR has to do those kinds of things.
Yep. No, absolutely no wrongdoing here on the part of Netflix, the production company. They acted absolutely appropriately. Again, there's just so many question marks that fly around about this. And I just really hope, two things I hope. Let me say three things I'm hoping here. Number one, I hope this isn't a situation of David Harbour, who I really like, is actually an asshole to children on set. I really hope that's not the case. Number two, I really hope it's not the case, because Millie Bobby Brown is a very talented actress who's got a very bright future.
Yep.
I hope this isn't a situation where she's just being some little diva and whatever. Number three, I really hope this doesn't affect the show. And I really hope it doesn't affect people viewing it, how they're able to view it. Are there going to be people who watch this show and are just, whenever Hopper and Eleven are on screen together, all they really see are two people who actually hate each other, and hopefully that's not the case at all. Anyway, so I don't know. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, I'm really hoping at the end of the day this is much ado about nothing, but maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's not. We certainly don't know, because none of us were there and none of us were in the room, and we need to remember that. But whatever you take away from this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on and talk about this, shall we? In a news story that has been really in the headlines the last couple of years in the world of entertainment, but we have not really touched on here on the show, because it hasn't had any direct impact on any upcoming movie or anything like that, but has been pretty big, has been the whole Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively situation. Now, you guys might remember that a number of months ago, I think it was in the summer, Justin Baldoni's lawsuit got thrown out, but there was an asterisk to that being thrown out. It was thrown out, but they had the opportunity to rephrase their complaint and resubmit a new complaint. So it wasn't really over. Well, now, in the word of Vince Carter, it's over. Some of you won't get that reference. It's totally fine. But apparently now it's over. As Complex and others are now reporting, Justin Baldoni has lost his $400 million lawsuit against Blake Lively after missing a court deadline in which they just declined to resubmit. This is what the report says. Justin Baldoni's massive $400 million extortion and defamation lawsuit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds has officially been shut down after the It Ends With Us director missed a court-imposed deadline to amend his claims. In a new order signed on October 31st, U.S. District Judge Louis Lyman of the Southern District of New York ruled that Baldoni and his Wayfarer Studios co-plaintiffs let their opportunity to revive the case lapse, effectively ending their legal fight. Judge Lyman noted that the plaintiffs, quote-unquote, failed to respond to an October 17th order asking why a final judgment should not be entered, prompting the court to formally close the case. The dismissal comes after the court originally tossed Baldoni's complaint in June, finding, and this is the key part, that his defamation allegations lacked merit.
You get nothing. You lose.
So, in June, the court says, you have nothing here. There's no merit to this case. And they said, but you have the opportunity to rephrase it and submit it again. They just simply decided not to. So, it looks like this very loud, that Baldoni, again, and listen, I need to say, I was not in the room. I don't know anything for a fact. But it sounds like this very loud, very distracting, very TMZ-ish story that has been out there in the news is now over. Now, the one part that is not over is that, you know what hasn't been thrown out? Blake Lively's case against him. That's still ongoing. But that has nothing to do with this. I don't care. That's going to work out the way, whatever way that works out. But his against her, this $400 million thing is now officially dead, and in the water. And you know what? The one thing that I hope comes out of this is that there are going to be beefs and disputes and problems that two people in entertainment are going to legitimately have with each other. It has always struck me as incredibly creepy and incredibly, I'll use an advanced word for you, icky feeling when parties decide to try to fight their fight in public. And they try to fight their fight in the court of public opinion. They try to fight their fight with tweets and social media posts and whatever. And to me, that is very Bush League and I don't like it when, even if it's legitimate things, you know what? You two people have gripe, fight it out with your lawyers, do it in court. Don't make it because you know what? You know who takes it and tries to make it public? The people who know they can't win in an actual court.
Right.
So they try to score points otherwise. And that thing is always, and I kind of hope my takeaway from this whole ugly situation is that moving forward, that other parties look at this situation and say, hey, if we have some beef with each other, let's conduct it with each other. Let's do it through our lawyers. Let's do it behind closed doors. Let's handle this thing the way it should be handled. Anyway, that's kind of my takeaway from it. Anyway, Rob, you saw, it looks like this thing is now finally done. What's your takeaway from it?
Well, I was involved. It was a very eye-opening experience with a large lawsuit during the Agent Cody Banks era with a partner. We all got the movie made. And it was shocking to me that after getting 2 Agent Cody Banks movies made, I would have a partner that went rogue and was all angry and started a very costly, very long and protracted lawsuit. It was stunning to me that this happened. And it was a complete, utter waste of time and money and years of our lives. So it doesn't surprise me that people do this. But my experience can only tell me that there's a lot of crazy ego involved. It's the business of Hollywood. That's why I always say you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. And in the case of this particular movie, it was a big hit. The movie was a big hit. Everybody could walk away and when you are the director and producer of this movie and the writer, I think Baldoni wrote this movie as well, adapted it. It's incumbent on you to set the tone. You know, you're the person that needs to get up there and say, this is what I expect, this is what I want, this is what we need to have happen. And this is the kind of thing where, and I think it's incumbent upon him to set that tone. And it's not like Blake Lively, she was on a big hit show. She worked with the Broccoli's on the rhythm section. She made a great movie called Age of Adeline with Harrison Ford. She has done great work. And I think that this lawsuit, it leads...
Loved her in Savages, too.
Dude, which I just got in 4K.
Did you?
Oh, Shout Factory put it out.
That's an underappreciated
Came out last
film.
week.
I like
Shout
that movie.
Factory rules, and she is incredible in it.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I love her. And by the way, Age of Adeline, one of the great movies, one of the great romances. If you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. But anyway, that said, I'm a little biased, okay? But I think that this was a case, the fact that he started this case, it went on, and then just decided not to pursue it, that to me is a very telltale sign. And I would say this probably didn't have to happen. And it's a bummer that it did.
Well, hopefully the whole thing is over now.
Hope so.
I mean, again, the one thing that is not over is Blake Lively's thing against him was not thrown out, but I'm not going to be talking about that here because that has nothing to do.
No, but
with
also you didn't see her mouthing off in the press very much about this.
Nope, they stayed very, very quiet.
Yeah.
They never got in the media. They never tried to fight this out in the open. They did all their stuff behind the scenes.
And
all
that's
the stuff
also
with the
very
courts.
telling.
Yeah,
Very
which is also
telling.
very telling.
Like you just pointed out, people who don't have a case mouth off in public.
But again, to be clear, I was never in the room. I don't know what is
Sure.
fact. I'm not trying to purport anything as fact. I was never there. I don't know. That's part of the reasons why we never talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
At any rate, guys, question is for you. It looks like this long drawn out story is now finally over. I'm glad it is. What lessons, if any, do you think there are to take away from this? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this. I am very excited about the new DCU. I mean, I thought season 2 of Peacemaker was fantastic, notwithstanding the pretty questionable finale. Wasn't a big fan of the finale, but overall, the show was fantastic. I loved Superman, and I'm really excited about what's coming up. And the thing I am most excited about is Lanterns, a series that we have all been expecting would be coming out in early 2026 prior to Supergirl, which is coming out in the summer of 2026. Well, now, according to this new report, the DCU's biggest 2026 TV show, Lanterns, is reportedly delayed by DC Studios. This is what's written in the report over at Screen Rant. Green Lantern's podcast recently uncovered in one of the Hollywood Reporter's newsletters from October that the next release for the DCU would be the Supergirl movie rather than HBO's Lanterns TV show. The podcast reached out to the Trade, that's Hollywood Reporter, for clarification if this was meant to imply that the series would come out after the film. The host received a reply back from the Hollywood Reporter, who responded with, "You are quite the eagle-eyed reader. Yes, we expect that Lanterns will now come out after Supergirl." After Supergirl. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but Supergirl is scheduled for a June release?
July
release. So, whereas we have been expecting, hoping, thinking that Lanterns, which looks and sounds incredible, and I cannot wait for this show. Again, all due respect to Man of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Clayface, this is the thing that's on the docket that I'm most excited about right now is Lanterns. And I've been thinking we're probably about 3 or 4 months away from getting it. Early 2026 was the initial thing. Supergirl is coming in July. That means if the Hollywood Reporter is right, we are at minimum not getting Supergirl till August, or not getting Lanterns until August. Probably September or October. We could still be a full year away from Lanterns coming out. Again, with the asterisks, if the Hollywood Reporter is correct and saying what they're saying. Now, I have not heard James Gunn address this, or Peter Safran, or, Aaron Pierre, or anybody else involved with Lanterns. So I am going to kind of withhold too much of a reaction until we hear directly from DC what's going on. But Rob, I'm just going to tell you it up. It's not the end of the world if we got to wait 5 extra months for Lanterns, but it sucks. I've been really excited to get this thing.
Me too.
And it really sucks if we're going to have to wait until after Supergirl to see it. So I don't know, Rob. Do you think this is what's happening? How do you feel about it? And what would cause them to move it to like after July?
I got to tell you, to me, this wasn't surprising at all. Only because, like, you look at the Vision series that Terry Matalas is producing for Marvel, the Wonder Man series, which was done however long ago.
I think we were still in the old studio when Wonder Man
I
was
mean,
done.
so with this, like with Vision, you know, you have to finish with HBO and these shows. They're coming out on a weekly basis. So basically, you have to have them done. These are very expensive shows to make. There's a lot of post-production involved. And we just heard that Lanterns finished shooting. So to me, you know, you're basically, if you've got 8 episodes or 10 episodes, that's 10 hours. I mean, a Marvel movie finishes shooting and a year later it comes out, and that's only 2 hours, and it takes them a year to finish. So it's not surprising to me. I never thought this was going to come out at the beginning of 2026, because even Vision, which was finished months ago in terms of shooting in London, they don't even have a date in 2026. They're talking sometime in 2026 because they have a lot of work to do. So this, to me, is par for the course. Plus, it's HBO. So they want to make sure. I mean, the Dairy series was in production for it wrapped, but there was a long time from the time it wrapped to the time that it debuted. And I think this is mostly par for the course. It doesn't surprise me. And that, I mean, obviously Supergirl was the first thing finished. It was finished way before Lanterns filming. So it makes sense to me that it's the first thing that comes out.
You know, but here's the thing. When you think about television traditionally, I remember I was talking to Stephen Amell, the guy who starred in CW's Arrow. Terrific guy. And I was talking to him when he was on set in Vancouver, shooting episodes for a season that had already started. Like on air, they were on episode 3, episode 4, and he was like shooting episode 12. And that's traditionally been how TV has often gone.
TV, they would shoot TV episodes in 8 days. Like Star Trek The Next Generation they did 26 episodes a season, and they shot each episode in 8 days. And so it was, but these shows, the one thing about these shows are going on location. They're not shooting them in 8 days. It takes a lot longer to shoot one of these HBO episodes than it does to shoot a standard network TV show. And those are CW shows too. And they were doing 20 episodes, 25 episodes a season.
No, I'm not expecting them to still be shooting Lanterns and start debuting the episodes 1, 2, and 3 there. I'm not saying that, but I also got to believe, because remember too, it's not like they finish shooting the show and then start on post-production.
No.
After day 1 of shooting, they're starting post-production. They're ready to go. So like if this thing came out in say April, we'd be talking like a 6-7 month window between when they finished shooting and when they started airing the show. And so, I mean, look, the only thing I can think of, Rob, that would have them moving Lanterns post Supergirl is if there's a story element that they may think, you know what, this will make more sense to an audience if they saw Supergirl first, or if Supergirl came out first. So I don't know, maybe that's their rationale.
I think you're absolutely right about that, because the Supergirl story is cosmic in nature. You know, it's not an earthbound story if they're going by the Tom King comic, which they are. Lobo is a cosmic character. So I would imagine also this is very iterative. We've heard there's been talk about there's doing some reshoots, and like David Cornsweat's come back and they're doing some reshoots with Superman. They might have figured out a way to have a stronger link for the universe itself by adding a bit. And I would imagine that's probably the case. Not a whole lot necessarily, but like you just said, you're dealing with a character who's going on a cosmic odyssey, and the Lanterns characters are cosmic based. And maybe they want to do something that tie the two together somehow. I don't know. James Gunn will spill the beans about this, though.
What's that?
Maybe James Gunn will eventually.
Yeah, James Gunn's very good at addressing
maybe
this
not
stuff.
now, but maybe in a month or two. Who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, guys, question is for you. let's keep an eye on James Gunn's social media because he's pretty good at like saying, hey guys, look, we don't have a release date yet, but it will be before Supergirl or it'll be after. Hopefully he'll bring some clarification to this. Anyway, whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, that down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Been a rough year so far at the box office for a number of things, but there have been several big hits. And one of those big hits, undisputably, was the Brad Pitt film F1, which got close to the $700 million range. I mean, it just did remarkably well. And it was a really fun movie. I thought it could have been shorter, but still an overall really fun movie with a lot of great performers and all that kind of stuff. And it ended up being a bona fide hit from them. Well, what we haven't heard since, and what we didn't know for sure, was whether this would become a franchise. It has a definitive ending. The movie ends. Would they do a sequel? Well, it sounds like they are looking to do a sequel because it is now being reported that Jerry Bruckheimer himself, the producer of the film, has said that him and another producer on the film, Lewis Hamilton, have already had meetings over an F1 sequel. And now, before we read too much into it, it's not like they're saying, hey, we've already got a rough draft of the script done or anything like that. But Jerry Bruckheimer, the guy behind the film himself, said in an interview, we have already started batting around the ideas. We're already starting to get the ideas together. We've already had meetings about it. We've already had discussions about it. Rob, F1 was not a film that necessarily feels like a franchise.
No.
I'm going to say it was a great one-shot movie. Here's the key part to me, though, and it's the same thing that I have about a lot of television shows. When there's a television show that I love, it's normally because of the characters. I get attached to characters in television shows. And I'll use the example of Supernatural, for example. Did Supernatural need to go beyond seasons 7 and 8? Narratively, not really.
Dude, the apocalypse happened and they went on that show.
And they kept going. They literally had the battle of Satan versus Michael, and the show kept going.
It kept going.
Narratively, did the show need to continue? No, it really didn't. But you know why it did and why people like me kept on tuning in? Because at some point it didn't really become about the narrative that was going on. It was about, we love these characters. I loved just tuning in every week and hanging out with the Winchester boys and Crowley and, you know, all the other great characters they had surrounding them. Castiel and all the rest. I love just hanging out with the characters. The characters made me want to watch. It was the same thing with The Hangover. Now listen, The Hangover sequels turned out to be poop. But I was so excited for a second one, not because like, well, what are they going to do? Go back to Vegas again? But I loved the characters.
Yeah.
And if Highlander 2, if what's the name of the franchise? I just said it. We're just talking about it right now. The movie, Going to Vegas.
Oh, The Hangover.
Hangover.
I was like, wait, what? Because they went to Vegas in F1 too.
Like, if you did The Hangover 2, and it was just those four guys, mainly the main three, but throw the fourth in there too. Those four guys literally just going bar to bar and talking for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I would have been down for it. And so, how's that connect into F1? I'll tell you why I'd be totally down for an F1 sequel. Because I loved Brad Pitt's character. I loved the character. And, you know, I loved his protege there too. I mean, I liked the characters. I loved Javier Bardem's character. I liked the characters. And you just bring those characters back, I'm in. Now, if they did an F1 the next season, but it was all different characters, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know that I'm interested in the film.
Right.
But you bring back these characters, I'm on board. I don't care if it's just another car race. It's the characters I want to see.
What about talk of like Tom Cruise joining from Days of Thunder?
I mean,
no, that was actual, like, seriously considered.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, can you imagine? Like, here's the thing. Let's say the thing about F1, like you said, I totally agree with you about characters. but also you're locked into this story about car racing. It's about the F1. You can't get away from really that. It's if you're going to make a sequel, but there is ways to do it within this paradigm. Tom Cruise is one, but instead of having only one, like Damson Idris was great. But what if now Brad Pitt has a team? He's got like 4. You go Top Gun Maverick, where you have a group of people. Now now they're a winning
one of them
team.
goes down, and he's got to get back in the driver's seat again.
And there's a team of people, and immediately you've got a female driver. You've got international drivers, and Brad Pitt suddenly has to like be the babysitter of this bickering super team of drivers. There's ways you can make it work in the paradigm, and I'll watch because I just like watching the racing, and those characters are great. And it's not hard. It's not hard to come up with a decent story, and especially Jerry Bruckheimer can look at it and go, "Yeah, we had all these exciting young people,
and
in Top
the
Gun
elements
Maverick."
are there.
And
Okay, here. How about this? How about you Rocky this thing up? All right, let me piggyback on your idea. So there's this young hotshot team, and Javier Bardem owns it. And he says, I need somebody who can manage these guys. He goes out and gets Brad Pitt to come back, but not to drive, but to kind of train, teach, manage this team. They end up racing against his old rival, Tom Cruise's character. And an accident happens as a result. One of the drivers is out. And Brad Pitt's got to get back in the cockpit again. He's got to get back in the driver's seat to race against Tom Cruise. I mean, I don't know.
But by the way,
We'll call it 2F21.
But the thing is, if you brought back Cole Trickle, which is the name of Tom Cruise's character from Days of Thunder, who wouldn't want to see that? I mean, that and then suddenly you've added Days of Thunder and Robert, what's his face? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? The guy that Tom Cruise worked for.
Robert Duvall.
Robert Duvall. You make Days of Thunder part. I mean, it's a Paramount movie, so you might have issues. But then Paramount gets You think David Ellison wouldn't want to do something like that? I mean, They already did Tom Cruise. They already did Top Gun together. All Jerry Bruckheimer has to do is go, "Yo, can I have a little rights agreement?"
The connection here is not thin. Jerry Bruckheimer, Top Gun Maverick,
Yeah.
F1.
Yeah.
Joseph Kosinski, director of Top Gun Maverick, director of F1. Tom Cruise showed up at the premiere of F1, hanging out on the carpet with Brad Pitt. Now, look, I don't know if it's going to be a Days of Future Past crossover or not, but if you could do this sequel, man, and find a way to get Tom Cruise in it, this becomes an instant $1 billion film.
Tom Cruise
Easily.
was talking about a Days of Thunder sequel a few months ago.
Yes, he was.
Here's the sequel. I mean, here's the thing. And you put and their rivals, Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, you put them out there racing against one another, like you said. Hello, $1 billion gross.
No, and
I'm already excited about this movie, and it doesn't exist.
Serious question. Does anybody, even with today's diminished box office, all that kind of stuff, does anybody want to put money that a Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt F1 sequel does not make $1 billion? Anybody want to take that bet? I ain't going to take that bet. I would. That's $1 billion film, period.
And remember, F1's an Apple movie. Warner Brothers just distributed it.
Yep.
So that was
and I think they were a production partner too, but it was
that
primarily
was the
Apple film.
distribution deal. So I mean, there's been studio co-productions before, but I'm just saying, I'm excited.
Yeah, I think this is going to happen.
I want to see Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt go head to head. And you know who else wants to see that happen? Tom Cruise.
I think so. I really do.
I mean,
think
after
you're 100%
Mission
right.
Impossible, and this movie, it's not like this is going to be profligate spending. You know that F1, they've already made it. They already have the production paradigm. You go through the same thing. You know how to do it. The Lewis Hamilton, who they're meeting with, is the real F1 driver who was a producer on
producer on the film,
because he's their entryway into the F1. They need to shoot at F1 races. Do you think they wouldn't want Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt to be in a movie?
You know what? Just deep in the type. Make Glenn Powell one of the younger new drivers.
I mean, yeah, there you go. I mean, dude, I want to see Cole Trickle come back. I love Days of Thunder.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that though.
You can even bring back Robert Duvall as the same character.
I don't think they're going to do that. By the way, speaking of Glenn Powell, can I just throw this a side note quick? Side note. You're not going to see us review or talk about the trailer for the new Jonas Brothers Christmas movie that's coming out on Disney Plus.
I had all those graphics set.
It made all the graphics.
Yeah.
But side note, the trailer for it came out today. I think this is look, I got a lot of respect for the Jonas Brothers, actually. My wife's a big fan. I've gone to a couple of concerts with my wife, and I gotta say, they, like, full honesty, guys, they really do put on a great show. They do. But, so I think this is a stupid thing doing a Christmas movie where they're playing themselves and everything. But I did see the trailer that dropped today. And it's a little bit of planes, trains, and automobiles. It's the Jonas Brothers, I guess, finishing up a concert, and they're trying to get home for Christmas. And they're having a hard time getting home. And there's this moment in the trailer that I have to admit, I laughed my ass off. They're in a private plane trying to fly home, and I don't know what leads to it, but there's no pilots in the plane. They go up to the cockpit, and there's no pilots. Maybe the pilots had to bail. Maybe they passed out. I don't know what the situation is. So Joe Jonas gets behind the sticks, right? And Joe Jonas is trying to fly the plane. Tristan said, do you even know how, one of his brothers says, do you even know how to fly? He says, don't worry. I know Glenn Powell, and he was in Top Gun Maverick. And that was the line. And I got to admit, I laughed pretty hard. I don't know. We just brought up Glenn Powell. That's what made me think about that. Anyway, total side note. Guys, question is for you. How much are you looking forward to the Jonas Brothers Christmas movie? No. What do you think about them doing an F1 sequel? I think you got to do it. And at this point, I don't think you can do it without Tom Cruise. I think you got to have Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise in this instant billion-dollar film.
I just want to see that movie.
I do too. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. You know, right at the tail end of last week, a report came out of Film Threat that they had not seen it, but they talked to somebody. So this is a little bit of broken telephone, granted, but so take it with a grain of salt. But according to like a headline like this from Geek Tyrant, Avengers Doomsday trailer description reveals a dark, tragic take on Doctor Doom. He went full universal monster. This is what the report reads. The person who saw it, this was from Film Threat, the person who saw it said, it's not finished, but this person was surprised by the amount of footage they showed of Doom in action. This is not a teaser trailer. You're going to get not just a glimpse of Doom, you're going to see Doom in this new trailer. The way the character was described in terms of Downey's interpretation is a classic universal monster, like the Phantom of the Opera. It's a tragic figure and a broken figure, and part of it is his armor. The Hot Mic hosts, this is also our friends John and Jeff, chimed in with their own insights comparing this Doom to Darth Vader and describing him as a tragic figure who lost his planet and the woman he loved. It's described as it's a broken, tragic figure. And listen, I got to tell you, if this report is true, and again, we have to give this huge disclaimer here. I did not talk to anybody who saw this. Film Threat themselves did not see it. This is all coming from a source that they spoke to. But it tracks with some things we know. So let's, for now, for the sake of our discussion, let's go with that this is legit. It might not be, but for now, just for the discussion, let's say it is. Number one, it does track with those earlier reports that they're getting a trailer ready to be shown with Avatar. And Avatar's coming.
It's not a trailer. It's the trailer.
It's the trailer.
Of all time.
It's the most important trailer of all time. I don't mean that with any hyperbole or irony at all. This is going to be the most important trailer that's ever been in the world of trailers. They gotta nail this. They have to. They put out a bad trailer, the repercussions are going to be deep and heavy. But this tracks with the reports that we saw that they are aiming to have an Avengers Doomsday trailer ready for Avatar. And Avatar is getting pretty close. My favorite, look, there are many great mustache twirling villains. Just, I'm a bad guy because I'm a bad guy. There are great ones, some of the best in Hollywood history. But if you've watched my show for any period of time, you guys know that my favorite villains are the ones who either see themselves as the hero or have a real tragedy that led them to being what they are. The idea being floated of a Victor Von Doom from a universe and a world that he couldn't save, and he loses everybody, and it maybe breaks him physically as well, to the point that they describe in this article, much like Tony Stark, the armor itself is a part of what keeps him alive. True could be said of Tony with the arc reactor and everything. And the fact that Victor Von Doom, is the one that we see, and I love the comparison to a Phantom of the Opera kind of a character, to a classic Universal monster kind of a character, is what ultimately is behind him and motivating and pushing and really molded him into whatever this version of the character we're going to get is. Again, I cannot speak to the validity of this report, but I got to say, I love the sound of it. I really do. And if they can bring real depth and real drama and real emotion, personal conflict, if they can bring all that into this character, and you give Robert Downey Jr. the ability to play that, I got to tell you, to me, it sounds pretty rich. And I love the sound of it. I love the sound of other things that didn't work out all that well, but I mean, this does sound great to me if it's valid. Rob, there are two questions here clearly. Number one, if it's valid, what do you take away from this? Do you like the sounds of this? And then the second question is, what do you think of the chances of it being valid? Anyway, what do you think?
I think it's totally valid. I think that's exactly the kind of character that's, I mean, first of all, you have to ask yourself, okay, you've got a big bad in Dr. Doom that's following up Thanos. How do you create a character? The thing about Thanos was his methodology and what he was trying to do was hotly debated. You know, we had, like, you still see memes, Thanos was right.
Yeah.
People would say, well, why didn't you just create that much more abundance rather than maybe he couldn't do that? I don't know. But the thing is that Thanos's plan was immediately something that was worth talking about. Now, in Doom, maybe the folly of what happened, that Doom saw the destruction of his universe and the people that he loved and all that, and he sees the rest of the universe on that same path. And he believes that he's the only person that can save, now that he knows there's a multiverse, the whole multiverse. So he's trying to prevent what happened to his world from happening to the rest. That's a motivation that I can buy into. That's a motivation I can believe in, whether he's misguided or not. He might have to break 1,000 eggs before he can save one.
Right.
And if that's the case, one universe, but 1,000 universes have to die because of it, fine. I believe that. I'm in. That immediately makes me more interested in this movie. Because the key to this whole franchise, the key to Secret Wars and Doomsday, is that you have to believe that Dr. Doom is a credible character, not just a villain. But, you know, he's got to be a Hans Gruber, Thanos, Darth Vader, Gus Fring, whatever. He's got to be a villain that we can all immediately sympathize with, and maybe secretly in our hearts hope he wins. You know, and if he did win, well, okay, he's going to make one more year. I'll be there, you know. Otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, we know that, oh, he's a douche. He's going to get defeated. Who cares? You have to make that story interesting. And the more you gave him a character and the more that we sympathize with him, the better the movie's going to be.
By the way, too, the way this is being described of him in the trailer is really quite consistent with the character we
100%.
get in the Secret Wars story. Like, if you know the Secret Wars storyline, if you suddenly put that background with that character from the comic storyline, it works.
100%. And the reason, here's what I also love. If this trailer is Doom-centric, it must be, because it's going to be doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Because they have to surmount the idea that this is a gimmick, that Robert Downey Jr. is playing Dr. Doom as well. And if we see that trailer and you immediately, this is what there needs to be 2 words that every person who watches that trailer thinks to themselves when it's over. And those 2 words are, I'm in.
I thought you were going to say, holy shit.
No, well, that could be 2 words
That would work too, yeah.
But holy shit's just, wow. But you got to be in. They have to earn our trust with this trailer more than any other trailer ever in the history of trailers. And how do you do that? You make us believe in Dr. Doom.
You know, it's somebody in the live chat, I've already lost it. It's already scrolled up a bunch, but somebody in the live chat said, imagine Tony who lost Pepper.
and
that's not far off.
who lost the Earth.
Yeah. And so what if
Both.
he's from an Earth where him and Sue Storm, because, that's a traditional, obsession of Doctor Doom, but like he comes from an Earth where he was deeply in love, in an Earth where he and Sue Storm, whatever, love of his life, and he loses his world. And when you take somebody of the ego, and I mean that in a good way because it makes the character so rich, there has never been a bigger ego in comics, in any comic villain, than Doctor Doom. Nobody thinks higher of Doctor Doom than Doctor Doom. You take him failing to save his world, because he should be able to do anything, and he loses those, whatever. So whatever, oh my God. I mean, it's a little reminiscent. It's a little reminiscent to me of Kingpin's motivation in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where Kingpin lost his family and is trying to utilize a multiverse maybe to get that back. So it's a little reminiscent of that, but that works. And so this is kind of exciting to me. And so you actually think this report is legit? You think this is where they're going to go?
I think it's legit. I mean, and it gives you, this is an opening of a movie, the end of Doom's world, and you see it, you could, in a way, it kind of echoes the opening. I'm not making this up, but it echoes the opening of Endgame, where you saw Hawkeye lose his family. We just didn't see Hawkeye turn into Ronin. But if this movie, it is called Doomsday.
Yeah.
And you start out and you give him a motivation, and people are gonna buy it. You have to believe in Doom. The audience, and if you give them a 3-minute trailer that makes us believe, you've surmounted a huge problem that this movie has, which is the gimmick of Robert Downey Jr.
Because I'll tell you what, and this is true. What do I always say in this show? Winning cures everything, right?
Yep.
Winning cures everything.
I'm in.
With all that people like you and I and many others have lamented about the lowest overall state of quality with the MCU since it got started, and it's been very hit and miss. Some really, really great things, some really, really weak things. I'm going to tell you this, Rob. This trailer comes out and is a banger. Narrative completely changes. Nobody's talking anymore between when this trailer drops and when the movie comes out. Nobody's talking anymore about the hit and miss since Endgame. Nobody's talking about the overall kind of diminished overall quality of the MCU. You know what it reminds me of? I remember back when the DCEU was still a thing, and everybody had kind of realized this isn't going so great. Like, it's not winning over the audience. It's not winning over the critics and all that kind of stuff. And then the trailer for Batman versus Superman comes out. Shut up. Nobody cared about anything other than this is going to be the greatest thing ever. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Trailer for Wonder Woman, when that came out, everyone's like, oh my God, this thing looks so good. Like a well-timed, well-made, rightly done trailer can make everybody forget about a lot of things that came before it. And if this comes out and crushes it, Rob, you're going to hear a complete narrative change.
Totally.
For a full year. Unless Spider-Man sucks, which I doubt that it will. But it's going to change the narrative. It completely will. Whether it can follow that up, we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? It sounded like this trailer is getting ready to make its debut, probably with Avatar. It sounds like we're going to get a lot of Doom, where some people were questioning whether they were even going to show Dr. Doom in it. Apparently, it's going to be very Doom-centric, and we're going to get a tragic figure of Dr. Doom, which I love. Anyway, guys, what do you think about it? Wherever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, we've got some time left here to get over to your topics and questions that you guys have sent in to us. But before we do, we're going to bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow.
John, thank you. I just want to give a shout out to our viewer, Josh Embry. His family came home this weekend and found one of their beloved cats. I know cats are your favorite.
Oh,
had passed away.
I'm so sorry to hear, but I hate losing pets. That's tragic to hear. All right, guys, with that down, let's now get over to your topics and questions, shall we? Jonathan, what do we got up first?
We got, 1 second, and I'll fix that, but I'll read it off screen.
Okay.
Anonymous, just want to thank you guys for this afternoon show. I work at an elementary school. Oh, this is terrible. We got word today, this is 4 days ago, but word today that one of our 5th grader students passed, really needed the pick-me-up. Man, that is absolutely awful.
Oh my God. I remember when I was in grade school, one of our fellow students passed away. And I remember like it just, that's something kids that age aren't ready to deal with.
Right.
And it was, and I mean, I wasn't an adult, so, but I can just imagine about how hard that hit the staff, the teachers. That's a horrible, such a horrible thing to hear. I'm so sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
We have Australian Jedi. John, I love the rundown you did for Superman's Oscar chances in each category. Do you think you could do one for Sinners' Oscars chances?
Yeah, I guess we could. I think one of the things that made the Superman one interesting was when you think of these comic book films, you don't think of Oscar potential. And, you know, they kind of made it an issue by starting an official for-year consideration campaign. With Sinners, I mean, the moment we all saw Sinners is like, this is going to get Oscar attention. Like we all knew that it was going to be a part of the Oscar conversation. So I haven't really thought about it that way. But yeah, I think at some point we can probably do that for Sinners. All right, what's next?
Star Wars fan fanatic. Did you see per Forbes say a few weeks ago that Star Wars 9 actually had a $600 million budget, not accounting big marketing, and it lost Disney millions at the box office. So Han Solo, Skywalker, Indiana Jones 5, 3 straight flops. Why is Kathleen here?
Simply put, I don't actually believe any numbers that ever come out of Forbes anymore.
Forbes has been doing a lot of hit pieces.
They have, and their factual stuff has been, in my opinion and in my estimation, when I've double checked on it, is really off. You guys might remember, I used to quote Forbes a lot, but their data reporting is, at least I personally have found, look, I'm just going to say this. I don't take anything that comes out of Forbes anymore. At least not on their movie and entertainment side. I mean, they might still be great when it comes to what Forbes is supposed to be about, but I simply don't read or listen to anything coming out of Forbes anymore. Their stuff has just gotten like, I just know that when I found a couple things they put out, and I like looking at it, it's like, that's not right at all. I just don't listen to them anymore. That's just me. I'm not telling anybody else to feel that way. That's just how I kind of got it. All right, what's next?
We got Obi-Wan Kenover who says, hey, John, the Scream 7 trailer was kind of meh for me. But then I started thinking, what if they're pulling a Drew Barrymore from Scream 1 on us, marketing it like Neve Campbell is the main character, but she gets killed off in a twist opening scene?
I think that would just piss people off, considering one of their big marketing points here is the return of Neve Campbell.
Especially after, all those legal issues and...
Yeah, all the other
I don't see her signing
issues
up.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
No,
I don't see her signing up for that.
Yeah. Again, I have a hard time getting too excited about Scream movies, even though I really liked the 2 ones ago, and I didn't mind the last one either. But look, could they kill off Neve Campbell at the end? Yes, but from the amount we saw of Neve Campbell in the trailer, it certainly looks like she's spread across the movie. So I don't expect that we'll see her killed off in the beginning. All right, what's next?
Dildar the Glorious says, I know this is a movie show, but just wanted to bring up how crazy the NBA gambling scandal ran by the mob is and the Trailblazers head coach being arrested, and wanted to know your thoughts on how much you think this will have an impact on the NBA.
It'll have little to no impact on the NBA as a whole. I really don't have much thoughts on it. I saw the report. I honestly, I didn't dive into it very much. And look, at the end of the day, I don't care. Somebody gets busted for gambling, and granted, it was a little bit more salacious when you read some of the details about it. I could see somebody making a movie out of it at some point, but right now I really don't have any thoughts on it because I just don't care about it very much. All right, what's next?
Supreme Leader. Excuse me. Hey, John and crew, what do you think the Academy should do or have planned for the 100th Oscars in February of 2028? I'm excited to see what movies the studios have planned. Though I wouldn't be surprised to see The Hunt for Gollum sweep it all.
Is it the 100th? I thought
in 2028.
Are we already in the 90s?
Oh yeah.
I thought we were in like the 70s.
Oh, back in the 90s we were.
Huh? I didn't.
No, I don't know. All joking aside, I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, look it up. I didn't think we were that far along, but apparently people in the live chat are saying, yeah, it's the 100th coming up. That's interesting. I don't know. Like what they'll do, I have no idea, but they should clearly make a very big deal
So
out
we're at the 98th. This 2026 is
the
98.
98th. Okay. So that tells you how close of attention I paid to
Actually,
the numbers that they showed.
I wasn't wrong. The 70s was in the 90s.
It would have been in the 90s, yeah. Look, no studio is going to make their movie plans based on it being the 100th anniversary of the Oscars, but the Oscars themselves should definitely be planning, and I'm sure they are, something really big. And look, I think you have to have Billy Crystal host it,
Oh, man.
right?
That would be awesome.
Like if it's, he's the one living, surviving
Yeah.
regular Oscar host. I think you got to have Billy Crystal host that thing.
And they have to do some crazy, like, cool montage of all
They'll
like,
have
the
to do
big
so
hosts.
much.
You know,
yeah, for the 100th anniversary of it, yeah, they should do something.
Yeah, and you know what they would do probably from all the breaks before they go into each category? They'll probably do a montage of some facet of the history of the Oscars,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, absolutely. And they should. Well,
Yeah.
they should.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Oh, sorry, we just read this one. So we got Lee Crow. Yo, crew, horror is typically not my thing, usually too gory. Watched Weapons 2 days ago, leading to Barbarian last night.
Nice.
OC flipped them. And The Dairy Show tonight. Yes, so I've seen it, 1 and 2. Love them. Rex for Halloween for a dude that hasn't seen horror in 20 years.
Again, the same two horror movies I always recommend. My all-time favorite, American Wolf in London. And one of my modern all-time favorites is The Descent. I love The Descent. That movie, to me, kills. Not so much The Descent 2, but The Descent is amazing. And again, I always like to recommend Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Make sure you check that one out as well. All right, what's next?
Wes Maurer says, Happy Friday, team. This was last week. What was the reason why Avengers Age of Ultron didn't use the Avengers theme in the beginning? I think it was just for dramatic effect.
Yeah, just dramatic effect.
Yeah.
A director decision to do it. Probably nothing more than that, my guess. I don't even remember the opening of the music.
Yeah,
played in the
that's
opening of it.
right.
Yeah, but it was probably exactly for that. It did not fit the tone of what the director was going for, so they didn't play it there. That's probably all it is. All
We
right, what's
got
next?
Jake Galbo with a $20 tip. What do you
Thank
think?
you, Jake.
What do you think tells the best love story? Which one? Edward Scissorhands, The Corpse Bride, or Nightmare Before Christmas? I'll go Edward Scissorhands.
I am going to go Edward Scissorhands as well.
So tragic.
And it had real, like when you watch it too, you could feel it more.
Yeah.
All due respect to the other ones, but I think that one kind of hit it out of the park with that one. Look,
Yeah.
I admit I am not a huge Tim Burton fan. He certainly has some movies that I love, but I think that's one of his better ones.
Oh, it's probably my favorite.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Cody Hunt. As far as Famke Janssen being in Doomsday, perhaps in that X-Men timeline, the Dark Phoenix storyline already happened and she's dead. Plus, doesn't she have similar powers to Wanda? Perhaps they don't want repetitive characters. Just a thought.
Well, no. Remember, Wanda's powers are based on magic, whereas Jean Grey's is purely on. Okay, so the mutant side of her is telekinesis and what's the one they call when you can read somebody's mind? Telepathy and telekinesis.
Right.
Then the other side of her, the Phoenix side, that's a cosmic force.
Right.
That imbues her with that power, right? So it is very unsimilar that way. Listen, one of the things I firmly believe is that whatever characters we see in Avengers Doomsday from the old X-Men universe is not going to be the direct one from the X-Men universe. Because remember what I always said? In the halls of Fox are inscribed in stone on the walls, continuity, schmontinuity. Even the Fox X-Men movies never adhered to continuity very much. Like every movie was kind of its own thing. Sometimes it would vaguely be continuations of, and a lot of things they would just take massive liberties with.
Yeah.
So I believe this will be those characters, but they may not necessarily be the same ones that we saw in X-Men 2 or whatever. And yeah, they could simply say they don't have to reference Jean Grey at all, any more than they have to reference Iceman, or any more than they have to reference, Colossus, or any more than they have to reference anybody. Maybe they just don't reference her at all, or maybe they say that ever since Jean died, or
Right.
something along those lines.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right, this is our last one.
All right.
Carson versus. I could have swore there was more. That's really weird. Hang on. Okay, so anyway, hey John, I'm curious. Oh, it might have bumped on me. So, hey John, I'm curious your opinion on if Sony did recast the older villains for Superman movies, like
Spider-Man movies?
Spider-Man movies, like maybe Aaron Paul, Electro, or Jesse Plemons, Dr. Connor's Lizard.
What do you mean if they did? Like, how would I feel if they did that?
Oh yeah, it'd be fine. I mean, if they did that.
Yeah. Listen, recasting is recasting. I have no problem with it. The important thing is the character. And I can get very attached like everybody else to certain actors playing characters for sure, but all other things being equal, keep the actors you got. But if you need to recast either because of changes in story or new versions or age or whatever, I'm one of these guys. I never have any problem with recasting. I think recasting is perfectly acceptable and perfectly fine.
All right, yeah, it did bump on me. So Wade is next. Seeing Roofman and Shelby Oaks this weekend. I have high hopes for both. Hopefully they're good. Also, I'll be watching Jurassic World Rebirth on Peacock today. I know you guys didn't like it. I've been intrigued myself just based off the reviews.
Yeah, listen, I was really disappointed with the new Jurassic because I thought the trailers were really great. I legitimately got quite excited for it, but I thought it was, look, is it the worst movie? No. Do I think it was utter garbage? No, I don't think it was utter garbage. But at the same time, I was pretty disappointed with it. Now that it's on Peacock, I will probably give it another shot. I think maybe one night when Anna's off teaching a class, I might just, break out a thing of caramel corn and a Zapier or a Diet Pepsi, cuddle it into the couch and just watch it again. I think I should give it another shot. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed with it the first time I saw it. All right, what's next?
Jake H. Hello, sir. Hope you and the crew are well. Thinking of Scream 7, do you think it would be jumping the shark moment if revealed the mask was haunted by the original ghost face spirit?
Well, considering literally every time they're wearing different masks, they're all masks that look the same. But okay, look, if there was one ghost face mask and you decided you wanted to take Scream into a supernatural kind of thing, you could do that if it was always that mask. And at the beginning of every Scream movie and it could almost become a running joke. The beginning of every Scream movie, a cop comes into another cop's office. Sir, the ghost face mask has been stolen again. And then you find out every time in a Scream movie, it's somebody else, but who has the original ghost face mask. And that the ghost face mask is somehow haunted or imbued with something or whatever. You could do that. But the thing is, they haven't done that with the ghost or with the Scream movies. Every ghost face wannabe has just bought another store version of the mask. But I mean, it would be fun if they kind of went in that direction.
It does seem irresponsible at this point for the company to keep mass producing these masks.
It does seem
you
that
think
way.
Somebody would be like, this
somebody
is in poor
would stop
taste.
doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, you can maybe get like an Etsy one, but
what's next?
Matan says, which Stephen King story that got a bad adaptation would you want to get a better adaptation using better scriptwriters, modern effect technology? The Langoliers and Trucks Maximum Overdrive come to mind.
You're not wrong, but I kind of have fun with Maximum Overdrive. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. The Langoliers, yeah, that's definitely one that could be a lot better.
He would want to he'd want to see The Shining redone, but I disagree with him.
What's it called? Is it Watchtower? Is that what it's called?
Oh, Dark Tower?
What's that?
Dark Tower?
Say not Watchtower. Dark Tower. That's one that, look, I didn't hate what they did with it, but it could have been a lot better. So that's another one that could be done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what one they did was really good, but nobody saw it? Dr. Sleep.
Oh, yeah.
The follow-up to The Shining.
Yeah.
That Ewan McGregor did. That movie's really good.
I mean, nobody saw The Long Walk either, but yes.
Yeah, nobody saw The Long Walk. But you can't improve that one. That one's really good. I don't know why more people never saw Dr. Sleep. I thought it was really great. I thought that movie was wonderful. Anyway, all right, what's next?
We got Alex Mercer, who says, hey, John and crew, going to Halloween Horror Nights tonight for Halloween night in Orlando. Wish me luck. My first time ever driving there. Dressing up as Alex Mercer from Prototype. Happy Halloween to you all. Have fun and stay safe. Do they allow you, at least at the Universal in LA, to dress up in Halloween costumes?
You can't. I don't think you can have your face covered.
Okay.
I think that's the
so you can
one
dress
thing.
up with no face cover.
Yeah, I don't think you can have a face cover. That's a security and safety
Sure,
thing.
of course.
I'll tell you what, my one regret this Halloween season is that this was the first year in a long time we didn't go to Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, that's right. Because you guys usually, Ryan, right? Everyone
Yeah,
just kinda
we
gets
all
together.
go every year. And
Yeah.
this year just got, like, between the movie meetups and between World Series and between a bunch of other things, and you got to book these things in advance. We just never really found a good night to go. And we ended up not going. And that sucks because I love Halloween Horror Nights. Anyway, I hope you had a really good time at it. All right, what's next?
Got curious. Chris watched Frankenstein after your recommendation. Really loved it. Filled with style and heart. As a fan of the book, I loved how true to the spirit of the book it was, while also being very personal interpretation from Del Toro. The creature was my favorite. I feel like he always treats these characters with care.
Oh,
Del Toro.
absolutely. 100%. I loved the movie. I really did. Again, I'm not sure I would call it my favorite Guillermo del Toro movie, but the very fact that I'm debating it between that and Pan's Labyrinth tells you how good this movie is. I will say I think it's my favorite Frankenstein interpretation ever. It's my favorite Frankenstein movie. And if you still get the chance, guys, I can't recommend this because the cinematography in it's so good. If you still get the chance to see it on the big screen, go and see it in a movie theater. I do not think the experience is going to be nearly as good watching it on a TV at home.
Yeah.
But if you don't get the opportunity to do that, still check it out,
Yeah,
even
of
if you got to
course.
watch it on Netflix at home. It's a really, really good movie, and I think you'll enjoy it. All right, what's next?
Curious Chris. I'm sorry, this was actually two parters on that. So I got to say, I'm not usually a terribly squeamish person, but at the times, would you say there was a plethora of dismembered body parts, and Frankenstein made me go, ew.
Yep.
Given the nature of the story, I understand not much can be done, though. So I get it. Fantastic movie still.
Yeah, you're 100% right there. It's pretty graphic.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. When you understand, this is about a mad scientist that literally builds a body out of other body parts. You're gonna get some squeamish stuff, and I am really, I gotta tell you, man, I am really squeamish when it comes to that stuff too. So I totally get it, and you're absolutely right. All right, what's next?
Salty Dog. Hey guys, I just watched Manchester by the Sea again.
It's a great movie.
Movie is so sad though. Once again, I'm blown away by how real the film feels. Performances are so great. Cannot gush enough about this film.
Yeah, you know what? It's look, I think we always knew that Casey Affleck was a very good actor in his own right. That was the movie for me, despite some of the controversy that was surrounding it, which we won't go into now, but his performance in that for me was the one that made me really go, oh, wow. Like, he's not just another Affleck who, oh, look, he can act a little bit too. No, he's really good. He's really good. And that movie was the one for me that really kind of put an exclamation point on that for me.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Double McShave says, it's sad when people talk about George Lucas, they often ignore one of his great successes,
American Graffiti.
Graffiti made $140 million on a $750,000 budget. It's also nominated for 4 Oscars. Star Wars, Large Shadow makes many unaware of what a big deal Graffiti
It was a huge deal. And you know what? A lot of people, when they think of the origins of George Lucas, they think of what's the number in the sci-fi thing? That they later did with Robert Duvall. They did the full live action movie of it, and whatever, I'm freezing on it. THX.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when the conversations of the beginnings of George Lucas and what got him his break, a lot of people, obviously his short film, THX 1138 or something like that.
Yeah.
Everybody will think about that, understandably so. But that was concept. It was American Graffiti that I think really put him on the map, especially with, people in the film business.
Yes.
American Graffiti is a wonderful film. I don't think it's like one of the 30 great films of all time or anything like that, but it's a wonderful film.
But the era was the era of New Hollywood.
Yeah.
And think about the stars and the directors that were coming up at that time.
Ron Howard's in it.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford. I mean, and it's surprising to me that even so many die-hard Star Wars fans today have never gone and watched American
It's just
Graffiti.
fun. It's a great movie night. Have your friends over and do a movie night. It's so fun.
And it really kind of emphasized, George Lucas' obsession and passion with car culture and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, yeah, definitely check out American Graffiti because our viewer's absolutely right. That is one that does not enough people have checked it out. You need to go see that. It was George Lucas before Star Wars.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Come on, that opening scene and Rock Around the Clock hits. Come on, you're immediately in it. Murph Daddy, me and my son went to watch K-pop Demon Hunters. The screen was blurry and zoomed in with characters' heads got. Whoa, that was a projector issue. Walked out after 5 minutes. Told management they said it was good on their end. That Sony sent them the wrong format. Then they shouldn't be playing that because that's not acceptable.
Listen, every time somebody who worked for AMC theaters, there is a review watch of all copies of movies that they do. Like there's somebody whose job it is to like check it out, watch, make sure somebody should have caught that.
Not just caught that, reported it. That file could have been transferred to them from Sony, the correct file.
Absolutely, but like I'm sorry, but it's the movie theater doesn't get off.
No, that's what I'm saying.
If Sony sent you the wrong copy, okay, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You should have known it was the wrong copy before paying customers went in to sit down and watch it.
There's no sorry they sent us. That's management, dude. That guy should be fired, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go. You know what? We missed that. That's terrible. That sucks. That you guys had that experience. I hope you got refunded. All right, what's next?
Josh L. Hey, John, loved meeting you and Ann at the AMC South Barrington. Not sure if you remember signing my film clapper for my girlfriend.
Oh, I remember autographing the film clapper. Yeah, that was great.
For my girlfriend's aunt and uncle. But they were absolutely blown away, and they loved the video message, too. Come back to Illinois soon.
Yeah, what I would do is sometimes like somebody who come up would be at the movie meetups, and they say, my boyfriend couldn't come, or my girlfriend who loves watching the show couldn't come, or my aunt or uncle who turned me on your show couldn't come, whatever. Then what I would normally do is take their phone and I'd record a little video message to send back to them. Yeah. It's a fun thing. But I remember on the movie meetups, I've had a chance to autograph a lot of fun things, including like Blu-rays of The Incredible Hulk.
Oh, that's fun.
One of the things I would love the most, people would bring copies of my book, The Pride, and have me autograph. That's always fun. But yeah, signing the movie clapper was a pretty fun thing too. I remember that. All right, we're out of time here, but let's take like one more.
All right. Oscar Herrera says, "Good day, crew. With the sequel to Godzilla -1 titled Godzilla -0, could the Zero be a hint to Monster Zero, or better known as King Ghidorah? If not, I'd like to see Ghidorah or I can never pronounce this one, Biollante. Hope you have a blessed day."
Well, I think it has just more to do with this constantly been going down. Where do you go from -1? Well, it's 0. So I don't think there's any other more hidden meaning in that than that. When it comes to which monster should be, I really don't care. Because it doesn't matter. It's like which villain should they use in a superhero movie. It doesn't matter which villain they use. It's got to be whatever villain you pick, as long as you write them really well, make it compelling and make it fun,
right? Then
all's good. So it really doesn't matter to me. I don't care if it's Mothra or Ghidorah or whoever else. I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's all about how is it written. They've got a great fun story and they make it compelling. It's going to be good. So, but right now my guess is there's no more hidden meaning to it than that, as far as the title goes, but it's interesting. All right, guys, listen, there's still more to come, but we're already past our runtime, so we're going to have to cut it off there. Don't worry if you got one already sent in. We'll get picked up where we left off on tomorrow's show. But for now, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. It really means a lot to us that you do, guys. Listen, big special thank you to all you guys who sent in questions. Number 1, because you gave us fun things to talk about. But number 2, you supported this channel as you did it. Big thank you, of course, to Robert Meyer Burnett, our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name is John Campea, guys. Thanks so much for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.